Good morning, children. Welcome to today's biology classroom. Our topic today is plant tissues. We'll be learning about meristematic and permanent tissues in this class. Before we start with our explanation session, let's quickly go through the learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, you'll be able to identify the different types of meristematic and permanent tissues, understand the structure and functions of different types of plant tissues, understand the structure and functions of xylem and phloem, and you'll also be able to understand the differences between xylem and phloem. This flowchart tells you how plant tissues are differentiated according to their location and function. Plant tissue can be broadly classified into meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue is further divided into apical meristem, lateral meristem, and intercalary meristem. Permanent tissues can be divided into simple and complex tissue. Simple tissues are of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Complex tissues are bifurcated into two types: xylem and phloem. This slide tells you about the location of the meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues are made up of actively dividing cells. They are found at all growing points in a plant, like the tip of the roots, stems, and branches, where growth in length occurs. Here we can see that the apical meristem is present near the shoot and near the root. The apical meristem present near the shoot is called shoot apical meristem, and the same which is present near the root is known as root apical meristem. The intercalary meristem is present near the nodes and internodes, and the lateral meristem is responsible for the lateral growth of the plant. So it is present in the stem and it helps to increase the thickness of the stem. Meristematic tissue. The term is derived from Greek word meristos, that means divisible. This tissue undergoes continuous divisions rapidly and repeatedly to form new cells. The new cells are box-like structures that contain a large number of tiny vacuoles, may be absent at times, and a large nucleus. This tissue is responsible for the growth of the plants. Apical meristem. This is located at or near the tip of the roots and shoots. This tissue is responsible for the vertical growth of the plants, which is known as primary growth. Height of a plant increases when the apical meristem produces new cells. Lateral meristem. This is located on the lateral sides of the stems. It helps the plant to grow horizontally. That is, it helps the plant to increase its diameter. This is called secondary growth. The two types of lateral meristem are vascular cambium, which produces cells and tissues that increases the thickness or girth of the plant. The other type of lateral meristem is cork cambium, which produces cells that form the outer bark. Intercalary meristem. This is located near the nodes and the leaf bases of the monocot plants. This tissue actively produces new cell and thus increases the length of the plant. It is also responsible for the regrowth of the cut grass. The diagram in the slide shows you the location of the meristematic tissue. It shows you that apical meristem is located near the shoot and the root, intercalary meristem is located near the nodes and the internodes, and the lateral meristem is present in the shoot, which helps the shoot to increase its diameter. Simple permanent tissue, dermal or protective tissue. Tissues that cover the external part of the plant are called dermal tissues. They are made up of epidermal cells that secrete the waxy cuticle which protect the plants from water loss. Epidermis is the outermost layer of the plant body that covers roots, stem, leaves, floral parts, fruits, and seeds. Another type of simple permanent tissue is ground or supporting tissue. This tissue helps the plant by storing food and water. They also provide mechanical support and strength to the plants. They are of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma. Parenchyma cells are thin-walled, spherical or oval in shape. They are found all over the plants in its roots, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruits. Parenchyma cells are responsible for storing food and water. They also control photosynthesis, respiration, protein synthesis, wound healing, and regeneration. The parenchyma cells present in the leaves contain chloroplast and hence are called chlorenchyma. Chlorenchyma are responsible for photosynthesis. Collenchyma tissue is found beneath the epidermis of all green parts of the plant. The cells are longer than parenchyma cells. Due to deposition of cellulose, the corners of the cells are thick. These cells have living protoplasm and hence remain alive for longer periods of time. They provide flexibility to the organs such as leaves and flower parts. They provide mechanical strength to the plant body. Sclerenchyma cells are rigid and have thick walls made of lignin. They are tightly packed with no intercellular spaces between the cells. These are dead cells as they don't have protoplasm. They provide mechanical strength and support to the plants. Sclerenchyma cells are of two types: sclerites and fibers. Sclerites are randomly distributed throughout the tissue. Their length and width are same. They have very thick lignified secondary walls. They are also known as stone cells. Fibers are long and slender. They are found in association with a wide variety of tissues in roots, stems, leaves, and fruits. There is a tiny cavity in the center of each cell. The cells have pointed edges. Let's have a quick look at what we have learned. Parenchyma cells are thin-walled, spherical or oval in shape. They are found all over the plants. Collenchyma tissue is found beneath the epidermis of all green parts of the plant. Due to deposition of cellulose, the corners of these cells are thick. Cells of sclerenchyma tissue are rigid, have thick walls made of lignin. These are dead cells that provide mechanical strength and support to the plants. Let's have a quick recap by answering these simple questions. The answer key will be provided in the next slide. Here is the answer key to the previous slide. Tissue responsible for lateral growth of the plant's lateral meristem, a simple permanent tissue made up of dead cells, sclerenchyma, plant tissue responsible for photosynthesis in plants, chlorenchyma, tissue located near the nodes, intercalary meristem, tissue producing the outer bark in woody plants, cork cambium. Now we shall be discussing and learning about complex permanent tissues in plants. Complex permanent tissues are responsible for the transportation of food and water. They are also called conducting tissues. They are usually produced by apical meristems, but in woody plants they are produced by the vascular cambium and are hence referred to as vascular tissue. The two common types of complex permanent tissues are xylem and phloem. Xylem. Xylem cells are called water-conducting cells. They transport water and other dissolved nutrients from roots to all other parts of the plant. Xylem is a combination of xylem parenchyma cells, xylem fibers, vessel elements, and tracheids. The xylem cells are like bundles of pipes running along the main axis of stem and roots. Phloem. Phloem cells are called food-conducting cells. They carry dissolved food substances in downwards and upwards direction from leaves to other parts of the plant. They contain cells which have living protoplasm, but the nucleus and other cell organelles are absent. Phloem tissue is composed of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. This picture will give you a clear idea about the differences between xylem and phloem. Xylem consists mainly of dead cells. Phloem consists mainly of living cells. We can see here in the picture, in xylem conduction is unidirectional, that is only upwards from the roots, whereas in phloem the conduction is bidirectional, both upwards and downwards from the leaves. Let's try and answer these simple questions to have a quick recap of what we have learnt. This is the answer key to the questions provided in the previous slide. Tissue responsible for vertical growth of plants, apical meristem, a conducting plant tissue made up of dead cells, xylem, foot conducting tissue of plants, phloem, the tissue located near the nodes, intercalary meristem, the tissue produced by vascular cambium in woody plants, vascular tissue. Dear children, we hope you enjoyed this online session as much as we enjoyed making it for you. A written assignment or worksheet of this lesson will be uploaded. You may do the assignment in any notebook, project sheet or Fullscape sheet as per your convenience. Thank you children for your uninterrupted attention. Have a good day.